Okay, this lecture is going over color. It is chapter 6 in your text, starting on page 52. Okay, so what I want you to do is close your eyes and then look at this image. So close your eyes, then open your eyes and tell me what color your eye first goes to. So go ahead and do it right now. Close and open. Now my guess is that it went straight to the Q or the R, most likely the Q because the line is a little bit thicker and red is a really bold color that dominates the rest of these primaries here. Okay, there are several color classes. The color spectrum is composed of 7 color classes: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Color terminology. We hear the word hue used quite a lot, and that is the purest form of a specific color, and it is directly related to the wavelength. We also hear the term value, the luminance, and basically that means the lightness or darkness of the color / hue. And value is communicated through tints or shades. If you're talking about a tint of a color, it is a lightened color, such as a pastel. So you could have a pink hue and then a pastel pink, which is a lightened pink, which would be a tint of pink. Also using that same example, you could have a darkened pink, which would be a shade of pink. You wouldn't want to say, oh, let's use a variation of pink, because if you say variation in a design setting, people won't know what you mean. So you want to be able to clearly communicate, I want to use a tinted pink or I want to use a shade of pink, meaning let's lighten or darken the color that we have. Color schemes are, it's the term that's used when colors are used in different combinations with each other. And the word or the phrase color scheme is used in infinite settings in the fashion industry. These are the main 5 ones that I want to go over. And it's expected that you will be able to pick out these color schemes when we do an in-class activity with these. So go over these as many times as you need to, so you can easily say, oh, that's monochromatic, that's a triad. The first one is analogous. And these are colors that are similar or corresponding in some respect. So they're going to be very close to each other in the color wheel. So if you look here, these are all analogous colors. We've got red, orange, yellows, maybe a little bit of pink. And this type of color scheme is different than all of the other ones, and that will make more sense when we get to the other ones. Monochromatic. I know you've probably heard this word a million times, but it's basically one hue that has a variety of tints and shades to it. So meaning it is lightened and darkened. So here's a couple examples of monochromatic color schemes. We've got this blue one here that goes from a really light pastel blue through the indigo down to the cobalt. And over here we have a monochromatic red color scheme. And if you say monochromatic red, most people will be able to get the visual in their mind. Okay, they're going from a deep dark red all the way to possibly a light pink. Triad or triadic. This means 3 colors that correspond in the shape of a triangle within the color wheel. And you can have a lot of fun with this, especially if you're working with plaids. Down here are some examples of some triadic harmonies. And here are each of these larger circles represent the color wheel. And if you look at the points across from each other, it will make the triangle. So this triadic harmony is using the green, purple, and a variation of yellow or gold. The next one has got sort of a neon green, a purple, and a red, and they all correspond in the shape of a triangle to make a really fun triadic harmony. So you just simply move the triangle around, and you can have a lot of fun making different triadic color schemes. Next, This one is really popular. We talk a lot about complementary colors. And when you're looking at the color wheel, a complementary color is directly across from one another on the color wheel. And when they're placed next to each other, they can create really strong contrast and they help reinforce each other. So when you place a red up here next to a green, they reinforce each other and make each other look stronger. A fun fact here is that blue denim will always have orange thread or maybe a red-orange thread on it as a contrasting color to help reinforce the color of the blue. Not all jeans do it, but the majority of jeans will have some type of contrasting stitch that's either a yellow or an orange because it is the contrast color or the complementary color of blue. And some universities, actually a lot of universities will have complementary school colors. So like the Huskies are purple and gold, which are complementary, make each other really stand out. Same with the Mountaineers. They are blue and gold, which is a combination of yellow and orange. So Christmas, red and green. So it's fun to just look at how companies or brands or universities use colors to create strong contrast. Split complementary is another type of color scheme that's a variation of the complementary color scheme. So in addition to its base color, it will use two colors that are adjacent to its complement. This color scheme has the same strong visual contrast as the complementary color scheme, but it has less tension because there are two varieties of the opposite color instead of just one. So let's look at example 1 up here. You'll see the red, instead of it just corresponding with the green as it would in a regular complementary color scheme, it is split between the two surrounding it. So the red, it goes with the yellow green and the blue green. So it's still strong, but it has less tension because it's not directly across. Okay, let's go down here to example 3. So remember how I used the example of purple and gold? This is sort of in that same vein, but this has got the yellow orange as the base color. So this is the main color, and then corresponding it, instead of the blue violet, it uses one on either side. So the violet and the blue, and there's less tension, but it's still a still strong visual contrast. The next type of color scheme is an achromatic or colorless. And the colors in an achromatic color scheme are black, white, and shades of gray, or also referred to as the grayscale. So if you've never said this word before, achromatic, I want you to take a second and practice saying it, because I don't know about you guys, but when I look at this word, I always see the word chrome, and I want to say achromatic when I look at it. So just take a minute and practice saying that word so you get comfortable with it. It's achromatic, which means oops, dang it. Oh, I'll just keep going. But it means a without color. So black, white, gray. Okay, moving on. Neutral or monotone. These are colors that obviously exist, but they are not in the color wheel. So this is beige, taupe, and brown, as well as here's that super fun word again, as well as our achromatic colors, such as black, gray, and white. So here is a color wheel that has the neutral, monotone, achromatic colors on the bottom. Typically, neutral, monotone, achromatic colors will come as a side palette and not be incorporated into the color wheel. Okay, color forecasting. Color forecasting is the key to survival for a brand. If a brand or company does not have the right colors for the season, their items might not sell. So colors must be interpreted for specific markets also. So your younger consumers will want to wear items that are more trendy and maybe a little bit riskier, where older demographics tend to limit the colors that they wear and only wear what they think looks good on them, not necessarily what they think might be trendy. Because a younger person might wear something and be like, well, I'm going to wear this because it's trendy. I'm not sure if it looks good on me or not, but I want to be fashionable. Where the older demographic is more from the standpoint that they don't care what other people think. They're more focused on what they think looks good on them. So for children's color forecasting, winter of next year, boys' colors are back to basics. We're going back to primaries. You can see there is red, green. It looks like they're doing a little bit of a split complementary color combo here. So they've got the red as their base. And then there's like a light yellow and a little lighter orange. Oh, no, that wouldn't be a split complementary. What would that be? Well, if you've got the blue across, then these could be the split complementary. But they've got a lot of neutrals, and looks like this is their accent color, the green. Okay, interiors also has color forecasting. And this is for right now, the interior colors that are popular for fall, winter 2013. Looks like the title of this color scheme is Black in Time. And it's interesting for fall and winter that they're using pastels, but that was popular for interiors in the 70s. There was that popular pastel avocado color almost, and it looks like they're trying to do that too. What do you all think the accent color is? There's the neutral base, which is sort of this color here. Then we've got orange. It's interesting that they don't have red here, but I would say the accent color is actually this blue. Even though it's not the one that stands out the most, it is the one that is used most sparingly. And we'll go over accent colors in a little bit, but usually an accent color is the one that is used in tiny amounts. Okay, spring, summer 2014 for women. There are a lot of cold tones that are being used. So when we say cool tones, we mean yellow, green, blues. And when we say warm tones, we mean red, orange, and yellow too a little bit. But here they're using a sort of a neon. Neon's been really popular too. Okay. Fall winter 2014, which will be coming up next year, doesn't look that different. We've still got the yellow and the blue and the green. And surprisingly, these colors are pretty bright. We've got the fuchsia, cherry, tangerine, and blood orange. So the bright colors are going to be in style for next winter. Okay. When we're talking about color, it is the very first decision that is made in the product development process. And this is where you're making your mood boards. So your color stories, you look at solids, prints, yarn-dyed fabrics, and variety of fibers, and across all your styles in the line. So here's an example of a solid color story. The majority of the material in this line is solid. So you've got purple, fuchsia, orange, beige, and like a brown. And there is one print. So if you look at this line, the majority of the line is solid. And there's one printed item, or maybe two if you count this purse. So this probably line is made to sell separates. Here's an example of a color story that has solids and prints, and this is probably some type of summer line. So we've got red, some denim stripes, polka dots, the gingham print. Another thing to consider is the fabric type and the way that it drapes. So you can have this jacket right here is a stiff jacket and has really nice structure. But if you can imagine doing this jacket style with this type of fabric, it probably wouldn't translate that well. So when you're picking fabrics in colors, you really need to be cognizant of the type of material and the way it's going to drape on your consumer. The color forecasting process actually begins 2.5 years in advance through environmental scanning. So if you think a couple years back, bright 80s colors were just barely starting to come in. There was a lot of the pop art that was using those really strong contrasting colors. And through environmental scanning, which we talked about last week, designers have finally said, okay, our winter, our spring, summer, fall, winter, we're going to use these really strong contrasting pop neon colors almost. There are a couple different ways to go about figuring what colors you're going to use for the line. Not every company has an environmental scanning team, so they will go to color associations, textile consortiums, or color forecasters. Color associations that you can be a member to, and you go to meetings and discuss color stories, and you help create the color story. So you go participate in environmental scanning through another association. There's the Color Marketing Group, the International Color Authority, Color Association of the US, and Pantone is a color association. Textile consortiums. These are more for your fiber-based products. So there's the Cotton Council, the Wool Bureau, and man-made fiber producers. They independently define their color markets, and they use a lot of science and technology, like what's happening in fabric development, to pick their own what's it called, weave or fabric structure, and then they pick whatever colors they want. Color forecasters, these are specific groups that predict trends. So they specifically do the environmental scanning outside of other associations, and people pay them for their forecasting predictions. So instead of joining an association or doing independent environmental scanning, certain brands will pay color forecasters to tell them what they think will be in trend. Whenever a company puts together color samples or gets samples from a company, they get what are called POMs or color cards. So this would be color cards. It would have the corresponding color name and a small swatch of the fabric. Same with down here. And these twists or these long braids are POMs. I just wanted to show you what they look like, so if you get into a color sample conversation, you know, and you could say, oh, hand me that red POM or something like that. Okay, the color span, the color bell curve lasts about 3 years. So something that comes into style today will be out of style in about 3 years. So our hot neon color pops just came in probably about a year ago, and I would say we're getting close to the top of the bell curve with the neons. So about a year and a half. So maybe next winter, and next spring it will start to trickle down, and we will see a new color span come in. Okay. Few more terminology words that we hear a lot about when we're talking about color. People say there's accent colors, you have your core colors, there's color discord, color story, colorway, and dominance. These are all words that you want to be able to use when you're talking about a line or a specific item. Accent colors are colors that are used for emphasis in a color scheme. Accent colors can be bold or vivid, or they can be used sparingly, but their purpose is to emphasize, contrast, or create rhythm. So let's look at this apartment here. What do you think the accent color is? I think it could be argued between the yellow of the wall. There's the yellow wall, the yellow pillows, a couple yellow flowers, or this turquoise blue. And since the turquoise blue is used a little bit more sparingly, I'm going to say that the accent color is this turquoise blue. And there's little pops of it in books down here too, which is kind of a unique way. Okay, looking up at the shoe, I think it's pretty obvious the accent color is the bright orange on the bottom, but I do like how the designer has it just peeking up on the sides. So when the person is walking, you can still see it. And then when you get a back view, there's that bold pop of the neon. Next terminology is core color. When you're talking about core color, it's usually a specific brand signature color that they use for every season or during particular seasons like fall, spring, holiday, or resort. So the brand that I thought of was Ralph Lauren. In every single season, they will always have an item, one for men, one for women, that is blue. Their signature embroidery over here on this guy in the chair, that is always in that sort of dark navy blue. And I have yet to see a season where they don't incorporate that color. So here we've got, I think this is spring, the blue suit. Here's winter. This is actually winter 2013. So there's the velvet, which is going to be really popular. And this was, I don't know, I think last spring or something too, but there's the navy jacket, sort of take on that, the blue vest, and a lot of their plaid prints also have blue. Color discord. Now this is what's been really, really popular lately. It's using colors and combinations that visually clash, conflict, or disturb one another. So you'll see it in, down here, this is a jewelry or maybe lipstick or nail polish advertisement, but all of these colors are really contrasting and conflict each other. You've got the blue that conflicts with the orange. Then you've got the purple that also conflicts with the orange. But down here with this sort of brown amber color, these are all the colors used in this advertisement are very conflicting. Same with these two pictures over here. You've got the blue with the purple and the orange, which is color discord. 3 different colors that just conflict, kind of disturb each other. But that's what's hot right now. Here's another example of color discord. J. Crew likes to mess around with a lot of prints and solids. These are not necessarily all contrasting, but if you look at the color wheel, they are close to one each other, or they've got the triad combo. Color story. This is another word that you hear a lot of. And a color story supports a theme for a specific line within a collection. So the color palette provides a story that supports the theme. And there's a lot of different ways to communicate a color story. Down here, the color story is just in simple swatches, but over here you've got a color story that is translated through places, flowers, actual clothing, activities, other locations, through fish, location, and then actual more garments. Colorway is also another term that you see used, and when someone's talking about a colorway, it's simply the variety of colors or prints or fabrics that an item is available in. So here's the sweatshirt, here's our main model, and they're saying this sweatshirt is available in, the colorway for this sweatshirt is orange, fuchsia, gray, and black, and the blue. The colorway for these shorts up here is checkered, I don't know, triangle print, gingham, and so on. Same thing with the skirt. It's offered in all these prints. Same thing with these 2 plaids. So when you're having a conversation about colorway, it's not talking about changing an item. It's about how many print, color, fabric variations a specific item is available in. Okay, the last one we'll talk about is dominance. And the dominant color within a collection will elevate the importance of that color, or a very small color family to set a main theme. Sometimes you can have 2 colors that are used in a theme or in a collection, and one dominant color will will clearly be the dominant, and then the other color will be the subordinate. So I've got an example here of Valentino. and it's very obvious what the dominant color is here. But Valentino, if you want to look for some other collections, you'll see a lot of black and white, and sometimes the black will be more dominant, sometimes the white will. But you'll also see collections that have a very clear dominant color and then a very clear subordinate color. But that color scheme will still be called dominant, even though they're two colors. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is color evaluation, and basically the process of accurate communication of color standards. And you can compare color standards either through digital spectra data or physical, where they send you the palms. You can compare your palms to the computer or other samples, just to make sure that the dyeing factory or your yarn factory maintains good quality, so it will maintain across the line. And your color evaluation has to be maintained throughout the production process to ensure consistency. Because if you send, let's say you're working for Ralph Lauren and you send a package of sweaters, size small, medium, large, whatever, that are all in the same color. You send them to Macy's, and Macy's opens them and they go, well, the small and the medium are the same color, but the large and the extra large are it's a different tint or something. They would most likely send it all back and say, send us a color or send us a run of sizes that are consistent in coloring. So having a consistent color is very important. There's a lot more in your text about color ordering and color terminology used in digital purchasing or computer programs if you're interested. Those are on page 56 and 57. But, and then there's more 58, 59 about Munsell Pantone and Static, which are color management companies. So if you want to know more about that, if you're interested in working for a color company, you can read further in depth on those pages, but you will not be quizzed on those, or they won't be on our exams.